Shalom, family. This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 1. The burden which Habakkuk, prophet, did see, or oracle. O Lord, how long shall I cry, and thou wilt not hear? Even cry out unto thee of violence, and thou wilt not save. Why doest thou show me iniquity, and cause me to behold grievance, or to behold trouble or toil? For spoiling or plunder and violence are before me, and there are that raise up strife and contention. Therefore the law is slacked, and judgment doeth never go forth. For the wicked doeth compass about the righteous. Therefore wrong judgment proceedeth. Behold, ye the heathen, and regard and wonder marvelously. For I will work a work in your days, which ye will not believe, though it be told you. For lo, I raise up the Chaldeans, that bitter and hasty nation, or impetuous, these which shall march through the breadth of the land to possess the dwelling places that are not theirs. They are terrible and dreadful. Their judgment and their dignity shall proceed of themselves. Their horses also are swifter than the leopards, and are more fierce than the evening wolves. And their horsemen shall spread themselves, and their horsemen shall come from afar. They shall fly as the eagle that hasteth to eat. They shall come all for violence. Their faces shall sup as the east wind, and they shall gather the captivity as the sand. And they shall scoff at the kings, and the princes shall be a scorn unto them. They shall deride every stronghold, for they shall heap dust and take it. Then shall his mind change, and he shall pass over and offend, imputing this his power unto his God. Art thou not from everlasting, O Lord my God, mine Holy One? We shall not die, O Lord. Thou hast ordained them for judgment, O mighty God. Thou hast established them for correction. Thou art of purer eyes than to behold evil, and canst not look on iniquity or wickedness. Wherefore lookest thou upon them that deal treacherously, and holdest thy tongue when the wicked devoureth. Got to choose your battles. And holdest thy tongue when the wicked devoureth the man that is more righteous than he, and makest man as the fishes of the sea, as the creeping things that have no ruler over them. They take up all of them with the angle or a hook. They catch them in their net and gather them in their drag or dragnet. Therefore they rejoice and are glad. Therefore they sacrifice unto their net and burn incense unto their drag. Because by them their portion is fat, and their meat plenteous. Shall they therefore empty their net, and not spare continually to slay the nations? If they've been eating plentiful off of us, it's Pretty interesting to be able to understand that concept. Why would these nations want to stop after you have raped, robbed, and pillaged chosen beloveds of this nation? That's why you've been going through 400 years plus of subjugation and oppression and slavery, Jim Crowism, war on drugs, gentrification, poisoning, three strikes law, continually slave Jacob. And everybody had a hand in it. No matter how much you want to choose to ignore, decide you are the descendants of your ancestors, it's hard to get it's hard to get around that. Even good people get hurt. And you have to understand, who do you stem from? When you start understanding that, you start being able to understand the other side, at least a little bit. But when you continually deny because of survival, because you know the truth, you know all the dirty, disgusting things that your forefathers did to a particular set of people. Chapter 2. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision, and make it plain upon tables, that he may rule that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. And also because he transgresseth by wine. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Shall not all these take up a parable or proverb against him, and a taunting proverb or riddle against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. Do not steal, do not kill, do not covet thy neighbor's goods. When you have the 7 deadly sins and you've had a large grouping of people marginalize and express and show envy. Show envy predicated from the slothfulness, creating a desire of lust and greed. And then even in that wrathful taking, you just never happen to be satisfied, so you become gluttonous. You take pride in what you've done. After the first time, if it was done, whenever it was done, it got passed down generation to generation. Woe to him that got your money, that got your land, your 40 acres and a mule, your park places and boardwalks, all of the farmland, all of the businesses, all of the patents that were stolen from brothers and sisters who created ideas and created inventions and businesses that were ripped from them. The foundation of black Americans in this country are owed $9 quadrillion. And that's just being nice and conservative and moderate about it. So when they complain about the money that they have, no, the whole world owes. And the Most High is here to collect back ass taxes. You've gone into another man's land and you've picked his lemons. And then you've made lemonade on his land and said that he has to pay a tax on his own land to you to sell the lemonade from the lemons that you stole. Woe. Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. Y'all got fat off the lamb. You gotta understand. Stocks and bonds and real estate that got passed down, derivatives, diversified portfolios, you gotta understand. You weren't defiant, yet you were compliant. You weren't sympathetic, yet you were apathetic. And now you're in spiritual court and everybody's getting his cold potatoes of judgment. And now it's a problem. Now it's complaints. Now it's suffering. Now it's, well, welcome to our world. Woe to them that got fat off the land, off the backs of all of those people who picked at cotton, all that tobacco, built those railroads that are still used to this day. Yet there's not one, I guess, trust or bond or just like the Monopoly board. All the brothers and sisters, all the, what is it, the dandy boys who build this infrastructure. If you don't know much about these, you should look into Professor Claude Anderson, Dr. Claude Anderson's books. Woe to them. Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? And him that ladeth himself with thick clay. Shall they not rise up suddenly? Or should your creditors not rise up suddenly, just like I said? That shall bite thee. You ever heard this, the story of the frog and the scorpion? The scorpion stung the frog after the frog didn't help the scorpion get across the water. And he said, why did you sting me? What did you expect? I'm a scorpion. And awake that shall vex thee or oppress thee. And thou shalt be for booties unto them or plunder. Shall they not rise up suddenly? Yep. Because thou hast spoiled thee nations. Oh, it's the reaching. I had to change that. Because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee. Because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land and of the cities, and of all that dwell therein. Woe to him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house. Do you hear that? Woe to you that coveteth the evil covetousness. You were capitulative into the oppression. However you want to slice it up, whether you worked in any governmental facility, every one of these administrations and organizations, all the ABC alphabets, You coveted with evil covetedness. You sided with evil. You became the blue people in Apocalypto. You became the followers of the American gods, Mr. World. You coveted. You contributed. All for some trinkets like Judas. Great glory. Woe to him that coveteth and hath evil covetedness of his house to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. Oh, I'm gonna live. Oh, I'm the king of the hill. I'm gonna live in the hills. And whoa, you get all of LA burnt down, and you get Hurricane Elaine and Milton, and the ancestors of these lands are being liberated, and they're wreaking ancestral havoc on your offspring in many ways. It's not just in many ways. Thou hast consulted shame, or gave shameful counsel to thy house by cutting off many people, and hast sinned against thy soul. For the stone shall cry out of the wall, and the beam out of the timber shall answer it. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood, and establish a city by iniquity. All that bloodshed. I've driven across this whole country and felt that bloodshed. That's why I was liberated. All them liberals I did in every single city and state. I did a lot. I didn't put it all on the gram, but for many of the brothers and sisters that do know me, I did a lot. And it was really the Most High. I was just a vessel. I just followed orders. I just obeyed. Couldn't contribute to any of these cities built on bloodshed and compromising of the integrity that the Most High wants me to operate at. Behold, is it not of the Lord of hosts that the people shall labor in the very fire, and the people shall weary themselves for very vanity? And that's what's happening. People are burning everything down because of their vanity. Your vanity will drive you insanity. Truly. Trying to get, hair. I'm going bald now. I'm about to be 40. People putting on extra makeup and surgeries, injections, and Botox, and tummy tucks, and BBLs, and the vanity, and is driving people insanity. And even with that, people are still not happy and satisfied with what God gave you. That gave me a deeper understanding of being very thankful of what God gave me. For the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord, as the waters cover the sea. Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth thy bottle to him, and makest him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness. And that's so real, having to check yourself. Like, maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I'm becoming an issue in my family, my friends, my homegirl, my partner's life. Bad influence, you know? People have to take that second look of themselves on how You may be selfishly destroying, parasitically destroying the people that you are around. Just toxic nuclear waste. And it's woe to you, and that comes with envy and jealousy. You bringing, somebody else down because you like what they got going on, and they got to sit there and suffer with you. Misery loves company. That's why you have to deal with your shadows and heal. However long you got to spend that time in the wilderness. If it take 40 years, go sit in that wilderness. Thou art filled with shame for glory. That's facts. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. So it's like you make a good girl or a good man go bad by exposing them, getting them all involved in the turn up, and got them all outside, and they was on the right path. And I can see that even in my own life, how the Most High could have and did force me out of other people's lives to make their lives, better, different without me. And I can receive that, and I can accept that. I want people to be successful and happy, and that's what I'm all about. I'm always about love. I ain't got no hate or ration towards none of that. I'm a congratulator, so I appreciate the lessons that the Most High gives us to be able to sit back and humbly reflect on our own conduct and our own behavior. For the violence of Lebanon shall cover thee, and the spoil of beasts shall make them afraid because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land and the city, and of all that dwell therein. What profiteth the graven image, the carved image, that the maker thereof hath graven it, the molten image and a teacher of lies, that the maker of his works trusteth therein to make dumb idols? That's facts. Now you sit here and putting all this faith and trust in your Dr. Fauci's of the world, and they give you parlor tricks and fool's gold and snake oil, and you fall for the okie doke. And this has been a year that snake has been the snake eyes, people crapping out and rolling out. Yeah, being susceptible to going all in, pushing all your chips on the table just to crap out on the first roll. Boom. That's why you're seeing more alcoholism, you're seeing more gambling, you're seeing the seven deadly sins come out in its full fledged right now. Where you're seeing lust, you're seeing so many women going into exposing themselves and not being virtuous women. You're seeing men who need to provide for their families, to provide and protect, will go through prideful and wrathful means, taking penitentiary chances to provide, and you lose faith and trust in what the Most High can do. That's why you got to rewind back. When in doubt, zoom out. You got to take a deeper reflection on you. And it's hard in a world that's always constantly trying to make you bad. Like, it's a wicked world, y'all. I'm telling you, temptation is everywhere. Your home got to be your place of peace. And then if it's not, you got to find a way to make it your peace. You got to find peace within, even when it's chaos all around you, even if it is chaos in your house. Find the peace within yourself to contain, sustain, maintain. Abstain from the wrath, abstain from the lust, abstain from the pride, abstain from the gluttony and the slothfulness, procrastinating and putting off the things that you know you should be doing. Just like I'm doing now. I mean, I should have been doing this. But the Lord sure is on time. He knows when a message needs to be delivered. And lo and behold, I needed to write this, I needed to read this, I needed to see this, I needed to hear this, I needed to give this. So yes, putting all this faith and trust into these dumb idols. They're just as dumb and they bleed just as much as you. Woe unto him that saith to the wood, awake, to the dumb stone, arise, or the silent stone, arise, it shall teach. Behold, it is laid over with gold and silver, and there is no breath at all in the midst of it. But the Lord is in his holy temple. Let all the earth keep silence before him. Chapter 3. A prayer of Habakkuk. The prophet upon Shigionoth. O Lord, I have heard thy speech, and was afraid, O Lord, revive thy work in the midst of the years. In the midst of the years, make known, in wrath remember mercy. God came from Teman, and the Holy One from Mount Paran, Selah. His glory covered the heavens, and the earth was full of his praise, and his brightness was as the light. He had horns coming out of his hand, and there was the hiding of his power. Before him went the pestilence, the burning coals went forth at his feet. He stood and measured the earth and beheld, and drove asunder or startled the nations. Ooh, yeah. And the everlasting mountains were scattered. The perpetual hills did bow. His ways are everlasting. There's been a phenomenal amount of earthquakes going on this year. I saw the tents of Cushan in affliction, and the curtains of the land of Midian did tremble. Was the Lord displeased against the rivers? Was thine anger against the rivers? Was thy wrath against the sea? That thou didst ride upon thine horses and thy chariots of salvation? Thy bow was made quite naked or bare, according to the oaths of the tribes. Even thy word, Selah, thou didst or divided cleave the earth with rivers. The mountains saw thee, and they trembled. The overflowing of water passed by. The deep uttered his voice and lifted up his hands on high. The sun and moon stood still in their habitation. At the light of thine arrows they went, and at the shining of thy glittering spear. Wow. I had an amazing dream about arrows and spears. For that to be in alignment, for the sun and the moon stood still, and we got three-eye atlas going on right now. I had a dream about January 9th. January 9th, that is the day of double for your trouble. That is when you see the arrowhead alignment of the planets. I'll talk about it another time, but let me wrap this up. But yeah, January 9th, 2026, 10:10. Thou didst mark through the land in indignation. Thou didst thresh the heathen in anger, and thou wentest forward for the salvation of thy people, even for salvation with thine anointed. Thou woundedest the head out of the house of the wicked by discovering the foundation unto the neck, Selah. Thou didst strike through with his staves the head of his villages. They came out as a whirlwind to scatter me. Their rejoicing was as to devour the poor secretly. Thou didst walk through the sea with thine horses, through the heap of great waters. When I heard, my belly trembled, my lips quivered at the voice. Rottenness entered into my bones, and I trembled in myself, that I might rest in the day of trouble. When he cometh up unto the people, he will invade them with his troops. Although the fig tree shall not blossom, neither shall fruit be in the vines, the labor of the oil, the labor of the olive shall fail. Dang, that's deep. And the fields shall yield no meat. The flock shall be cut off from the fold, and there shall be no herd in the stalls. This is heavy. Yet I will rejoice in the Lord. Great glory. I will joy. I will joy in the God of my salvation, the true God. The Lord God is my strength, and he will make my feet like hinds' feet, and he will make me to walk upon mine high places, to the chief singer on my stringed instruments. Hallelujah. Great glory. And that is the end of chapter 3, and that is the end of the book of Habakkuk. Shalom, family.